Somebody put a price tag on your grandmother's kindness. $7 for a plastic water bottle that already had someone else's fingerprints on it. A guitar, donated for free, sitting behind glass with a $500 sticker. A pair of jeans that used to cost less than a diner breakfast, now ringing up at $40. Something changed at Goodwill. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. For most of your life, walking into Goodwill meant one thing: a second chance, priced for people who needed one. A coat for $2. A suit for a job interview when you had nothing left in the checking account. Now you walk in, and it feels like somebody swapped the price gun for a calculator that's never heard of mercy. Here's the part nobody explains to you at checkout. Goodwill didn't buy that guitar, didn't buy those jeans. Somebody drove them over, handed them off, and drove away trusting they'd help a stranger. Free in, marked up on the way out. That's not a rumor. That's the business model. And it gets stranger the deeper you go. Behind the donation counter, your old jeans get sorted like they're auditioning for something. Ordinary shirt, sales floor. Vintage Levi's, single-stitch tee, a Nike collector's grail, different pile, different destination. That destination has a name: ShopGoodwill.com, the nonprofit's own auction site, and it's not some side hustle anymore. It has now surpassed $3 billion in cumulative sales, up from $1 billion just 5 years ago. That's not a thrift store. That's a business with a mission statement bolted on. Would you bid against a stranger for a stranger's old sweater? Because thousands of people do it every single day now. Last year alone, that auction site generated roughly $450 million, a 22% jump from the year before. Its biggest year in 26 years of existence. They're not doing it by hand anymore, either. A new AI listing tool, built with Microsoft, now processes somewhere between 130,000 and 140,000 items a month. Your donation isn't going into a bin anymore. It's going into an algorithm. Here's your first receipt to keep. Free isn't the same as worthless. Goodwill figured that out before you did. If you're the person who used to brag about your Goodwill find at Thanksgiving dinner, sit with that for a second, because the whole game changed underneath you. It's not charity shopping anymore. It's a marketplace with a halo. So why now? Why did a folding table full of donated coats turn into a billion-dollar auction house? Because you changed first. The U.S. secondhand market is projected to keep climbing towards $78.8 billion by 2030, and online resale in the U.S. alone is expected to hit $31 billion this year, up from $26 billion just last year. More than 59% of Americans shopped secondhand last year. That's not a niche. That's a majority. A Goodwill executive said it plainly. Shoppers are trading down, chasing value while prices climb everywhere else. And it's not just budget shoppers filling those aisles. Higher income demographics are hunting for treasure too. Everybody's in the bins now. Grandma, the reseller, the guy in the Patagonia vest looking for a deal on a Patagonia vest. Which brings us to the receipts that actually made people angry. A Coach bag showed up on Goodwill's shelf priced at $229.99, essentially full retail. The shopper who found it said prices had climbed almost 6 times higher than just a year before. Read that twice. Not 6%. 6 times. If you grew up thinking of Goodwill as the place that stretched your paycheck, ask yourself honestly, when's the last time it actually did? Here's a mid-script truth, free of charge. None of this is illegal. None of it breaks a single law. It just breaks the story you were told about what that building was for. So here's the deal. If this is already making your jaw tighten a little, hit like right now, because the next part is where the real numbers live, and you're going to want to comment when you see them. Because prices are one thing, paychecks are another. Stephen Preston runs Goodwill Industries International, overseeing a network of 150 local Goodwill organizations with combined revenue of $8.2 billion. His own compensation, according to public tax filings, sits consistently between $650,000 and $750,000 a year. Not the worst crime in America, just a number worth knowing before the next one. Because at the local level, it climbs higher. The CEOs running the 12 largest individual Goodwill organizations pulled in between $405,000 and $960,000 in 2024, averaging $670,000. And sitting at the very top of that list, the CEO of Goodwill of North Georgia was paid $1,700,000. $1,700,000. Say it slow. Now hold that number in one hand. In the other hand, hold this one. Federal labor documents from Pennsylvania showed some Goodwill workers with disabilities being paid 22 cents, 38 cents, and 41 cents an hour, legally, under a 1938 loophole called Section 14C, built to give people a shot at work, not a shot at exploitation. One paycheck with 6 zeros. Another paycheck you could count in loose change. Both real, both legal, both sitting inside the same organization under the same donated goods umbrella at the same time. Nobody's asking you to pick a side tonight. Just asking you to notice you were never told about the second paycheck. The tide is turning on that one, at least on paper. The federal push to phase out those sub-minimum wage certificates was formally withdrawn in July of 2025. But states didn't wait around for Washington. As of this year, more than 25 states have banned or restricted the use of that loophole entirely. 25 states said enough before the federal government did. Let that sink in for a second. Here's the line I'll say once, and I'm not walking it back. A nonprofit can be generous with its mission statement and stingy with the people who make it possible. Both. At once. Nobody scripted that. It's just what the paperwork says if you actually read it. So where does that leave you? The person still hauling bags to the donation door every spring? Nowhere bad, actually. More Americans than ever are quietly rerouting around the whole system. Handing coats straight to a neighbor, dropping bags at the church thrift shop down the road, joining local giving groups where the person receiving your old coffee maker actually has a name. Not a rebellion. Just people going back to doing it the old way, on purpose. If that's you, comment below and tell me where you take your donations now. I want to see how many of you have already made the switch without even calling it a boycott. Because here's the thread running under every single number tonight. A price tag can be printed in about 2 seconds. A flat, adhesive number sitting on top of somebody's old winter coat. But the thing that coat was actually supposed to deliver, a second chance, no questions asked, that was never something you could scan at a register. Goodwill figured out how to price the coat. It never figured out how to price the chance. And maybe that's the whole story in one sentence. They professionalized the shelf and forgot to protect the meaning of the donation. So next time you're standing in that aisle, staring down a price tag that makes you laugh out loud, remember, you're not just looking at a sticker. You're looking at what happens when generosity gets run through a spreadsheet. If this opened your eyes even a little, hit subscribe, drop a comment with the most ridiculous price tag you've ever seen at a thrift store, and share this with the one person in your life who still thinks Goodwill is exactly the way it was 30 years ago. It isn't. Now you know why.